Monica and I walk into the hospital reception and get her checked in. Afterward, I ask about the status of Mikey and Sayori, giving the nurse my credentials, I don't know, and explaining that I am Mikey's legal guardian. She explains to me that Mikey is currently undergoing treatment and cannot be seen until it is complete, and Sayori is still being examined. I look around the waiting room and sit down next to Monica. How are you feeling? I have a really bad headache, but I'll be fine. Good. Still, we need to get you seen to make sure you don't have any serious damage. I mean, I am a little dizzy, but not really to the point where I think a doctor is necessary. You never know, Monica. Simply punching someone in the jaw once can lead to a multitude of medical complications. And no offense, but you got beaten pretty hard earlier. None taken, I understand. Please, we can't really do anything until Mikey and Sayori are done, so we might as well knock this out really quickly. Right. After about 10 minutes of us waiting, a nurse comes out and calls for Monica. As Monica tries to stand up, I look her in the eyes and place my hand on her shoulder. You're gonna be okay. Okay going in there alone? Yeah, of course. I may not look like it, but I am okay with being alone. Sure. Without saying another word, Monica goes with the nurse and disappears. After what seems like an eternity, the receptionist calls out to me. When I approach the desk while holding her desk phone in one hand, she points down the hall with the other. Mikey is down the hall. Turn to the left, room 105. Thank you. The door to my room opens and Julia walks in. Okay, so now we're MC again. Once she and I make eye contact, she runs over and hugs me. God, woman, get off of me. Her arms wrap around me and rub against my arm, shoulder, and back. All the places that were injured tonight. I grab her arms and try to pull her off of me, but her grip on me is unexpectedly tight. Thank God you're okay. What? Julia doesn't say anything else afterward. She remains silent and gently rocks back and forth during her hug. Of course I'm okay. What did you think? I was going to die or something? You don't want to answer that. Oh. Julia's behaving rather oddly, and to be honest, it's throwing me off. The last time she hugged me like this was when Ashley died. All of a sudden it hits me. She was worried about losing me. I guess I just assumed that Julia would not worry about me regardless of what was happening. She was one of the people who trained me, but she also is the one who is caring for me. Understanding the stress she must have been under, I wrap my arms around her as well, ignoring the sharp stinging in my shoulder. I'm okay, Julia. I promise you. She releases me and looks me in the eyes. I'm glad to hear. What happened to you? I take off my shirt and show her the various places I was hurt. When she notices my back, she silently huffs. The fishing line that Sayori used to stitch me up has been removed and replaced with something more professional and medical grade, which did help ease the pain a bit. As for my shoulder that was dislocated, that just needs time to rest. And one of the bullets that grazed my arm didn't cause too much damage, so nothing was really needed for that. After inspecting me, Julia sits down on one of the nearby chairs and crosses her legs. How is Sayori? She's fine. I was able to get her out safely. Her inner thigh was sprained and she had some deep cuts on both of her arms and stomach. But nothing too serious. She got really lucky. Yeah, she did. You did something seriously stupid tonight, but you got her back. Me risking my life for her was not stupid. It was something I knew the risk to, and still did it. Sayori doesn't deserve any of this, and if I had any way of stopping her pain, I was going to do it. I see. Well, you're lucky I got your message. If I hadn't, you would probably still be in the forest or dead. I'm very much aware of that, Julia. I had to rely on you, which is a rare thing. Hey! But I knew I could rely on you. Why do you always have to say things like that? Julia's face flushes and she looks away. I put my shirt back on and gently stretch. So I heard Monica is here at the hospital. Huh? How'd you know? Your assistant told me you were taking her here with you. Ah, yes, she was here. She's also getting checked out. It looks as if her... Alright, ignoring that again, is off. I don't know, I'm not a fucking professional when it comes to any sort of body stuff. I don't know what the fuck that is. Hearing that slightly pisses me off. I grip my hand into a fist and remember what the guy did to Monica. I held back on killing him. I really shouldn't have. But nothing looks too serious. It's just better safe than sorry, I guess. I stand up from my seat on the hospital bed and stretch once more. Well, I don't see a reason to stay in the room anymore. Let's leave and wait for Sayori outside. You need to rest, Mikey. You may not think so, but you look extremely exhausted. Shut up, I'm fine. No, sit down. Julia, I am fine. I raised my voice enough to get her to submit. I know I look tired. It's because I am tired. But the night isn't over yet. It won't be for a while. I look into Julia's eyes and try to reassure her, but it doesn't look like it's successful. You're so difficult. You have the opportunity to actually rest for a bit until your friends are released, and here you are rejecting that opportunity. Julia, I have never been the one to rest. Ashley taught me that. And I still get pissed off at her over it, and she pushed herself too hard at times. But that doesn't mean you have to. You're safe, everything is over, and you can rest now. Not until Sayori is completely safe and all the bastards involved in this fry. I understand. Thank you, Julia. This entire night has been very eventful. However, it was not the first like this. There was a time before where I spent every last ounce of energy I had to protect someone close to me. And during the times where you are absolutely certain there is no turning back, you accept the consequences, and you are inevitably going to face. And I am going to accept the consequences to come. After about 5 minutes of solid and tense silence, I decide to address the elephant in the room. I turn to Julia and lean against the wall next to her. So what is the plan? My assistant's writing up a report about tonight's events. It's going to be damn long one, too. Her voice flares slightly with irritation as she turns her head to look at me. Not only are the bodies recovered needing to be examined and documented, so are the live people who we detained. How many did the local PD arrest? Not as many as I would have liked. Nevertheless, they're being processed right now, and hopefully we can come up with something. Let me know if anything does come up. You'll be the first to know. Thanks, Jules. I'm pretty sure the girls are finished up by now. I'm going to go outside and wait for them. Right, I'll get all of you discharged. Julia stands up, gently pats me on my good shoulder, and leaves the room. Oh, God. I follow her and go to the waiting room. Quite a lot of story. Walking into the waiting room, I spot Monica sitting down in one of the chairs. Her eyes widen when she sees me. Mikey, you're all right. She outstretches her arms to give me a hug, but I stop her before she can make contact. Sorry, it's just my back and my shoulder don't really feel all that up to being hugged. I understand. What did the doctor say about your head? I have a mild concussion, so nothing too serious. I'll be fine. Glad to hear. Monica's okay, thank God. I hate to admit it, but I was actually pretty worried about her after I sent her away from the forest. The prick who the prick. Damn. The prick who attacked her was pretty brutal. I'm glad I showed him what I did. If I was a minute later, I don't think she would have been in as good of a shape. Monica went to an extreme length for Sayori, a length that not many would be willing to go. I respect Monica for that. Contrary to my own belief, I couldn't have saved Sayori tonight if it wasn't for her. Without saying another word, I muster up enough energy to ignore the pain on my back and my arm as I wrap my arms around Monica. Huh? Thank you, Monica. Thank you. Monica doesn't reply. She wraps her arms around me and gently squeezes. After a moment of silence, we let go of each other and I feel someone standing behind me. Yay! Wait, she's still bleeding though. They didn't do anything. Pricks! Turning around, I see Sayori walking towards me with a relieved expression on her face. We lock eyes for a moment before she runs and hugs me. Her arms wrap around me and for some reason I feel oddly warm from it. I return her hug by wrapping my left arm around her back and my right hand on the back of her head, securing her to me. Again, we have a moment of silence. Feeling Sayori in my arms is something that feels so surreal. Just hours ago, I nearly lost her forever. But here she is, thank God. The weight of the entire night is now beginning to take its toll on me. My muscles are sore and scream at me to stop moving. My breathing is labored and I'm covered in sweat, dirt, blood, and I'm mentally exhausted. Even formulating thoughts right now is taking a lot more energy than it should. Sayori pulls away from the hug and looks up into my eyes. Mikey, are you okay? I'm alright now, but what about you? My leg is sprained and I have some bandages on my cuts, so I'm okay. It doesn't look like it's bandaged though, I can see them. It could definitely be worse. You're right, it could. I press her close one more time before releasing her. Monica walks over and gives Sayori a hug while Julia joins us and hands me my discharge papers. Are you all ready to leave? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Of course, let's get the hell out of here already. Monica, we're going to take you home first. Then I'm going to drop Mikey and Sayori off next. Sayori's gonna be staying with me at my house. Huh? Normally I would be extremely against that, but honestly, you are probably on the right track about that, Mikey. Jeez. If any of the people who caused this shit to happen tonight are still active, then going to your house isn't a safe thing to do. It would be better if you stayed with me tonight, so if anything happens, I am at least able to do something about it quickly. I guess. Sarah's face flushes and she looks off to the left. Well, not her left apparently, but she's looking at her right. Monica nods and starts to follow us out. Sayori stays by my side and slowly grasps my hand in hers. When we pull away from the driveway, Julia looks back and at Sayori grasping my hand tightly while sound asleep. She smiles and turns her head back toward the road. I know I never really tell you this, Julia, but thank you for everything earlier. Don't mention it, kid. Kid. She hasn't called me that in years. Whenever she did, she was usually in an emotional mood or state. Or as Ashley would joke around with, she is on her period. But it's pretty evident that is not the case here. She was probably just emotionally strained tonight as I was. Eventually we pull up to Sayori's driveway and I gently wake Sayori up. Both she and Julia exit the car and enter her house to gather some clean clothes. After they return, Julia drops both of us off at my house. Sayori seems too tired to even walk, so I try my best to help her up the stairs and into my bed. After placing the blanket over her, I turn and start to walk out of the room. But Sayori calls out my name, stopping me in my tracks. Mikey? What is it, Sayori? Is it too much to ask if you could sleep with me tonight? I kind of don't want to be alone. Sure. Give me just a second to turn off the lights downstairs. Okay. After going downstairs, turning off the lights, making sure every window and door is locked, and doing final checks, I return to the room. Sayori is swaddled up in the blanket, waiting for me. Gingerly slide next to her in bed, and immediately she puts her arms around me and starts to cuddle. You're so warm. Weirdo. I wrap my good arm around her and let her nuzzle into my chest. After almost a minute, I hear gentle coos coming from her. Wow, she must have been really tired to fall asleep that fast. Or really comfortable. And to be honest, this is actually something I enjoy right here. Sayori is warm, she smells good despite all that happened earlier, and well, she's important to me. I've never really been able to experience much of something like this. I better take advantage of this opportunity and finally relax. After all that has happened, I know I need rest. And so does she. And I could finally do that. What's that noise? My eyes are closed, but my ears are very much open. I swear to God, I heard a noise. Oh no. Shuffling in the bed, I realize Sayori is not here. What? Wait, how did that even happen? What? I didn't feel her leave? Shifting and sitting up in my bed, I look around the room. My bedroom door is open, but Sayori isn't anywhere to be seen. I silently get off of my bed and move towards the door. The dark house remains completely silent and still, which gives me an eerie feeling that tingles up my back. Walking into the hallway and leaving my room, I look around listening for any noise or movement. The bathroom door opens and my head snaps to it. Oh, but we heard like someone step on like a twig or something, like a tree branch, like some tree branch or whatever. Not like those thick tree branches. You know what I fucking mean. And Sayori walks out of it, giving me a sudden startle. Oh, Mikey, you're awake. Yeah, I heard a noise. Oh, that was me. I was using the bathroom. I see. I let my guard down for a moment and return to my bedroom, sitting down onto the bed. Sayori follows and sits down next to me, looking into my eyes with their sapphires that almost seem to glow in the dark. You okay? Yeah, just still recovering from everything. A sudden ache in my stomach burns at me, so I attempt to rub and calm it. Yeah, I guess I'm a little on edge too. It's all just so scary. Excuse me. But then I remember that I have you to protect me. You're lucky I care for you. I reach over with my good arm and gently pat Sayori's back. She giggles silently and then wraps her arms around me. Thank you again, my hero. Don't mention it. I pull her closer to me and she rests her head on my shoulder, still hugging me. We both sit down, silently embracing each other until she yawns loudly. Sayori and I scoot back against the wall while sitting on the bed to make ourselves more comfortable. She continues resting her head on my shoulder until she falls asleep silently. It's kind of cute, actually. Albeit all slightly annoying, since I am not a bed for people to rest on, but I will make an exception for her. Plus, it's kind of nice. I give Sayori a few minutes to fall into a good depth of rest before I tie her, or lie down. Tie her? Oh my god, what was I thinking? That sounds bad. I lie her down onto the bed. Her face squints for a second, but then eases back into a neutral face of someone in a peaceful rest. Lucky girl. I don't think I could fall asleep that easily after all that has happened. Keeping my voice down, I look around the room and take a second to reflect on everything for yet another time tonight.